Hey everyone, Amber here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be sharing with you how I created this super cute, teeny tiny chipboard mini album. So since it is made of chipboard, we will start by wrapping some chipboard. I have 3 pieces here. I have 2 that measure the same size, and these will be the covers. And then I have a shorter piece that will be the spine. So as always, all of the measurements will be listed down below in the description box, along with how many pieces of each item you will need, just so you can follow along easier if you do decide to make this mini album. So I am using 1/4-inch double-sided tape to adhere my chipboard to the wrapping piece. And I'm going to start by removing the backing of my tape from one of my cover pieces. And I'm going to place that on the paper on the left side. And I'm making sure to leave about 1/2 inch or so of paper left on the top, left side, and bottom. Then I am just going to add my other 2 pieces, leaving a little bit of space in between all of them. Then I like to use my scoring tool to smooth everything out and make sure it is nice and adhered down. Then I am cutting off all 4 of my corners from my paper. When you do this part, just make sure not to cut up right against the chipboard. Leave about 1/8 of an inch or so of paper left over. Now I'm taking my double-sided tape and adding a strip to each of those 4 panels that I just created. And then I am scoring with my scoring tool along the length of the chipboard just to help fold up the paper easily. And once I have pre-folded my panels, I will start adhering them down by doing the long sides first. I like to get the longer sides done and out of the way. So you can see here that I start by adhering the middle down, and then I slowly and carefully work my way outward. Now when it comes time to adhere the shorter sides, I use my scoring tool to tuck in that excess paper that we had in each corner, just so that the corners are not as sharp and you get a more clean and put together look to the album base. So I did that to one short side, and now I'm doing it to the other, just flipping that excess paper over, tucking it in, and securing everything down. So I did go off camera and added some stitching using my sewing machine to the base of the album itself. And now I am taking my lining piece. This will line the inside of the album. I added a bunch of double-sided tape to the back of it, and then I'm going to center it as nicely as I can so that it looks even. And then I'm just going to make sure it's all adhered, and then I will carefully and slowly fold up my covers to find that score line, and then I will score it, and the album base is done. So now it's time to move on to pages. So there are a ton of pages in this album, and if I attempted to even try to say all of the measurements in this voiceover, I wouldn't be able to. There's just a lot to it. So check out all the measurements down below in the description box. They're easy to follow. There's a pattern to all of them. Basically, we are starting by making gussets on all of our pages. So a gusset is basically just a space in the middle. It's kind of like a spine. And we are making the first page have a large gusset that will match the spine of our book. And then it is getting smaller and smaller by 1/4 inch every time as the pages go on. So hopefully that makes sense. It's super easy to follow. And I have scored all of my pages now, and now I'm just going to fold up on all of those score lines. I like to do this very carefully, especially since I did not have double-sided paper. So I had to adhere 2 pieces back to back, so the paper is thicker, and I didn't want it to tear. So just, if you have to do that, make sure you fold up on those score lines carefully. So I'm just going to continue folding up on all of those score lines, and you can see here during this part that the gussets are getting smaller and smaller. The largest one measures 1.5 inches, and the smallest is just 1/4 inch. So once we have all of these folded up, we are going to basically just stack the pages from the largest gusset to the smallest one. And that is how we are going to adhere the pages to the base of the album itself. So you can see here that I'm going to put these in order from the smallest to the largest. And then I'm going to show you what that will look like in the book, I think, or maybe I don't, I'm not sure. Nope, we're just going to start gluing these down. So I'm using double-sided tape and I'm just adding it to the back of the gusset. And then I will remove the backing of my tape and then I'm going to adhere it down as perfectly centered as possible. I suggest taking your time with this so that all of the pages look nice and even. Then I am going to, of course, use my scoring tool to make sure it's nice and stuck down. And then I'm going to repeat that process until all of the pages are added in. So every time you just want to add your adhesive of choice that you are using, and then try to center it. So since these gussets do get smaller with every page, you have to just try to center the next page on top of the one before it. So hopefully all of that makes sense. It can be kind of hard to put into words, but hopefully just seeing the process will help you out. So I am trying to use the last page I glued down as a kind of guide for the next one. You can see that one was a bit off-centered, so I just pulled it up carefully and then recentered it and adhered it down. And I'm going to just continue this process. This mini album has a ton of pages to work with. If you didn't want to have as many pages, you could just take a couple out. I like having a lot of pages to work with. There's more room for decorating, more room for photos and journaling, all in all. So I like having more pages than less. So I'm just adding the last couple of pages here. And then the album base will be complete and ready to go. So super, super easy album, especially once you get the hang of it. It'll go by super fast and you can start doing the fun part of embellishing and everything. So since I did have to double up on the pages so that the pages had patterns on both sides, my pages got a little bit warped. You can see here I was trying to fix it, but no worries. Once I embellished everything, the pages straightened out and you can't even tell anymore. So here's a quick flip through. So you can see a ton of pages to work with, like so many, it just never ends. And now here's a flip through of the finished album. Well, partially finished. I still have to add photos and journaling to it. I lightly embellished the inside. I like to kind of keep the embellishments on the inside limited so that way I have room for documenting, and then if there's any space left over I can add more embellishments. So you can see on the cover I added some florals and some rolled flowers. For the beads on the side of the album, I just added those to some elastic and then tied that on the inside of the album. And I think that this turned out super, super cute. I love the Horizon collection. I think it's so pretty. So I had so much fun making this album. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you feel inspired by this tutorial. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more crafty videos like this, and I will see you guys in my next one. Take care and happy crafting. Bye.